Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to my channel. My name is Paul, the Canadian Snowman, here once again with some more awesome videos, history videos, of course. Continuing on with our Ottoman history. Sorry, I didn't no video yesterday because I was watching a lot of football yesterday. I was watching the world heavyweight fight between Fury and Wilder. Pretty awesome fight. Uh, but anyways, here we go to Ottoman Wars, battles on Otranto 1480 and Chaldiran 1514. I don't know. I know we had really cool rebellion. The last video, which is really cool, and it just showed like how much, just being a great leader, you know, how much of an impact that has. But yeah, we're going to jump into this video. Please hit that like and subscribe button below. And let's jump into it, guys. Hope you guys are having a great weekend or had a great weekend. Dun, dun, dun. Kings and Generals, guys, amazing channel. If you're new here, definitely check it out, and definitely check out my playlist. So I've done a lot of cool stuff. Definitely worth checking out. But anyways, like, subscribe, and bam. Woohoo!
In the previous episodes in our series on the Ottoman Wars, we have covered the struggle in Albania and Moldavia. Although the Ottomans were slowly getting closer to the peak of their power, the resistance against them was mounting, both in Europe and in the Middle East. The rule of Mehmed II.
Okay, so we're not even at the peak of the Ottoman's power. That's cool, we still got some more butt kicking ahead of us. Okay.
Mounting, both in Europe and in the Middle East. The rule of Mehmed II was coming to an end, and a succession would prove to be a tricky affair. The Ottoman Wars were just beginning.
Alright.
With the death of Skanderbeg, Venice took over the defences of a large portion of the Balkan coast. This was a continuation of the Ottoman-Venetian War of 1463 to 1479, and by the end of it, the Republic was exhausted and was forced to sign the Treaty of Constantinople. Mehmed II received Euboea, Lemnos, and most of Albania.
Oh, wow.
The conflict with the Prince of Moldavia, Stefan III, was also winding down. So the Ottomans were able to concentrate their forces against the Kingdom of Hungary, which at this point was ruled by Matthias I.
Stefan's pretty good. That's the guy, a really awesome leader, right? Anyways, we're going against Hungary now. This is exciting.
Against the Kingdom of Hungary, which at this point was ruled by Matthias I and was arguably one of the strongest kingdoms in Europe, with the legendary Black Army defending it. A number of raids were conducted into.
Why are they called the Black Army? That's pretty scary. Maybe that's why they're called, because they're just scary.
The legendary Black Army defending it. A number of raids were conducted into Transylvania via Wallachia in this period. Eventually, Matthias gave the voivode of Transylvania, Stefan V Báthory, enough forces, and the latter met the Ottoman raiding troops at the Battle of Bredfield on the 13th of October, 1479. The Ottomans under Ali Koca Bey and the Prince of Wallachia, Basarab IV, had between 10 and 20,000 troops, mostly Akunca light raiders, while Stefan V commanded around 15,000 Hungarians, Zeklers, Transylvanian Saxons, and Serbs. Both sides divided their troops into three groups. Initially, the Ottoman right and centre pushed their counterparts. The situation became even more critical for the Hungarian forces when Stefan fell from.
It's like, man, they just jumped into a battle. No, like, real setup. It's like, bam, we're fighting already. It's like, okay, I feel like I missed something here, but doesn't seem like there's much to it, though. I guess that's why. I mean, I just kind of charged at each other, and, yeah.
From his horse and was almost captured, only saved by one of his knights at the last moment.
Wow.
The Ottoman leaders usually stayed behind the centre in order to observe the battlefield, but Ali Koca Bey commanded the left flank and fought in the front lines, which prevented him from judging the tactical situation. Famous Hungarian.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense at all. Like, if you're the only leader or like the one in charge, like, it just makes sense. At least have yourself back here, maybe with a dozen other men as your bodyguard. And just so you can, I guess just some people just love leading from the front. I mean, it rallies the troops up, and they're going to perform better, I'm sure. But I just think it's just very, very risky. If you get killed, then basically the rest of your army is going to retreat most likely. So, but anyways, see how this works out.
Prevented him from judging the tactical situation. Famous Hungarian general Pál Kinizsi was commanding Stefan's right flank. He managed to lure the Ottoman left away from the center and then rapidly attacked and dispersed it.
Wow. Uh-oh, flank.
His cavalry then attacked the Ottoman center, and soon the whole Ottoman army was in retreat. According to different sources, between 5,000 and 10,000 warriors of the Sultan were killed, while the Hungarians lost less than 3,000.
Nice. Wow. Wow.
As the Ottomans...
It's kind of crazy like that, because they tell us the numbers, but it looks pretty evenly matched. But I guess, just doing really well on a flank like that and overcoming your opponent, definitely has a domino effect where you can just kind of sweep up the rest of the troops. Bad analogy. But anyways, yeah.
Often used their border vassals in these smaller attacks, Hungary got some respite due to the victory at Bredfield. Sultan Mehmed now set his sights on strengthening his position in the Mediterranean and on conquering Italy, as according to some sources, Rome was his goal ever since he took Constantinople.
Wow.
The disunity in Italy was promising, and the newly acquired Albanian lands were a good springboard. The peace with Venice also helped, as the Ottoman navy didn't need to contend with its formidable navy anymore. In May of 1480, the Ottomans launched an invasion of Rhodes, but the Knights Hospitaller managed to repel the assault by August despite the overwhelming Ottoman numbers. At the same time, the invasion of Italy had begun. In July of 1480, a 20,000-strong Ottoman army under Gedik Ahmed Pasha set sail for the Kingdom of Naples, making landfall near Otranto. The garrison initially considered it to be a smaller raid and sallied out. As more Ottoman troops landed on the shores, the defenders were pushed back and forced to return to the city.
I guess, the Italians here wouldn't know that the Ottomans are coming. I feel like maybe some spies would know, but that'd be kind of just pretty scary. It's just a regular day, and all of a sudden, there's like all these ships on the horizon, and all these soldiers just start unloading, and you're like, what is going on here? But that had to be pretty terrifying. But it's like, that looks like they got a pretty good fort going on here that they can probably sit back in here for a while and survive until the cavalry arrives. But we'll see if that happens.
Landed on the shores, the defenders were pushed back and forced to return to the city. The Ottoman commander sent a messenger, demanding that the city surrender and convert to Islam. The citizens and the garrison, which had around 2,000 soldiers, declined and managed to send messengers asking for help. Meanwhile, the Ottoman cannons were disembarked from the ships. On the 29th of July, the Ottomans surrounded the city and their cannons started bombarding the walls. As the garrison was too small to defend the outer walls, it moved to the citadel. The Ottomans quickly took the city, looting and burning as they did. Their cannons were moved to destroy the walls of the citadel. The siege continued for 15 days. On the 11th of August, the Ottoman artillery breached the northeastern wall and their troops entered the citadel. The garrison, alongside 10,000 citizens, were massacred and thousands were enslaved. According to the sources, 800 men were left alive, and the Ottomans tried to forcibly convert them to Islam, but they refused and were beheaded.
Wow.
These 800 became martyrs, and their death became a banner uniting the Christian forces.
Yeah.
The Ottoman...
It just shows how much faith means to people, especially back then. like they're gonna die for it, because like I'm sure the city could easily have, okay, you guys got us be, just tell them whatever they want to hear, just so like your family and friends and everyone doesn't die. Okay, yeah, sure, we'll believe in your faith, even though behind closed doors you're not. It seems like it'd be like an easy decision, but I guess back then, like not knowing what we know now and everything, uh, you can't really turn against. It's a big, no to turn against your faith, because the afterlife and everything, it looks bad upon you, I guess, and that kind of stuff. So, but it's like, wow, that whole like city there just got massacred. Yeah, they're gonna be a martyr.
The Christian forces. The Ottomans then raided the cities of Lecce, Taranto, Brindisi, and Viesta. Most of their troops returned to Albania, leaving 1,500 as a garrison in Otranto. The kingdoms of Naples, Sicily, and Hungary besieged the city in May of 1481. As Sultan Mehmed died on the 3rd of May, and with him the plan to take Italy, no help arrived for the garrison, and in August it surrendered.
Introducing T-Mobile's hometown discount. Switch today to your local store and get 25% off for life.
I'm curious. Are they gonna massacre them right back? Because that's definitely been a theme. Going through these wars, and not these wars, but just all these playlists I do and videos in general. But yeah, you think there would have been like a successor? You think you'd have a game plan for someone who's gonna succeed you. Kind of tell them the game plan, but I guess not.
Mehmed didn't name a successor, so his sons Bayezid and Cem raced to the capital to capture the throne. The former was quicker and was declared Sultan Bayezid II on May 21st.
Wow, he got there first. So
Cem captured the cities in Anatolia and defeated Bayezid's forces on May 28th. He declared himself the Sultan and offered to Bayezid that they divide the empire. The latter refused, consolidated his forces, and moved against Cem himself, this time defeating his brother at Yeni Shahir. Cem fled to the Mamluks in Egypt, then to the Hospitallers, and ended up in the court of Pope Innocent VIII, who was willing to use the Ottoman prince as a bargaining chip against Bayezid. The new Sultan continued the Ottoman military conquests. Smaller raids were used to loot the areas on the borders or to punish.
I mean, it's just always amazing. Like, family means nothing to the powers that be. It's like, I want power. I don't care if you're my brother or my blood. I will kill you. I just want the power. Like, yeah, good. But like a farming family, they love their family, they want their family around because they can help things and all that stuff. But I mean, if you're higher up there, I mean, the title is everything, man. It's kind of crazy. But I guess they probably didn't really grow up together and stuff like that. So I mean, they don't have time to, I guess, build a bond or whatever. But it's just always crazy how fast they're going to turn on each other.
Smaller raids were used to loot the areas on the borders or to punish rebellious vassals. One of the targets of the raids was the Kingdom of Croatia, which was in dynastic union with Hungary. In 1491, such a raid ended up in a Croatian victory at the Battle of Verpile. In 1493, the Ottoman ruler in Bosnia, Hadim Jakub Pasha, made another raid into Croatia, and the locals raised their forces to meet him at Kabava. Both sides had around 10,000 troops, but while the Ottoman army was made up of cavalry, the Croatians fielded a mix of infantry and cavalry. Initially, the Croatian forces occupied steep hills, and the Ottoman leader knew that he couldn't win a battle attacking uphill. Right. He sent 3,000 horsemen to set an ambush to the right of these hills, while 3,000 stayed to the left. The rest moved against the Croatians. After the initial attack, the Ottomans started retreating and the Croatians pursued them, descending into more open terrain.
Perfect.
The main Ottoman forces re-engaged them, while the two hidden groups attacked them from the right and rear. Soon the Croatian left retreated and was crushed. The centre and the right were pushed back and then surrounded. Almost the entire Croatian army was massacred, while the Ottomans lost only a few hundred.
Wow.
During this period, the Ottomans renewed hostilities with Venice and started their wars against Poland. Moldavia became an Ottoman vassal.
There's a war against Poland and now Venice. Isn't like two different fronts, you know? It seems like a big mistake. Why not just deal with one enemy first? When you beat them, then go deal with the other enemy. I don't get it. Because this reminds me of, like, you know, the Germans when they kind of when they had the French, you know, and then they had the Russians on that side. You know what I'm saying? The two fronts, you know, it was too much for them. It's kind of, I wonder if this will end up being too much for the Ottomans.
Started their wars against Poland. Moldavia became an Ottoman vassal, while the Venetians were forced to give up their holdings on the Peloponnese after losing a number of naval engagements. Meanwhile, the main threat for the Ottomans was rising in the east, in Iran. The Seljuk...
Okay, I thought we were going to have some kind of like big thing going on with like Poland up here in Venice, but anyways, we're going to the east. Sweet.
threat for the Ottomans was rising in the east, in Iran. The Seljuk, Mongol and then the Timurid invasions changed the balance of power in the region, as more Turkic and Turkified tribes were settling here in their wake. By 1500, Iran, Iraq and most of the Caucasus were under the control of the Ak-Kuyunlu dynasty, which challenged Mehmed II in 1476 during the Battle of Otluk-Bely. Since that defeat, the Ak-Kuyunlu had not been trying to expand to the west anymore. Internal strife was weakening their realm, and in 1501, a member of the Safavid dynasty, Ismail I, supported by a number of Turkoman tribes, occupied Tabriz and declared himself Shah. In 1503, he defeated the last Ak-Kuyunlu Sultan, and soon he was in control of a vast empire.
Wow.
Ismail and his dynasty belonged to the Shia branch of Islam, and that put him on a collision course with the Sunnite Ottomans. The new Shah decided to test his Ottoman and Mamluk neighbours by attacking Dulkadir, which was under their protection, in 1507. Neither state responded, but the Ottoman prince Selim retaliated by raiding Safavid territory adjacent to the area he governed. At the same time, Bayezid asked another Sunnite leader, Muhammad Shaybani, to attack the Safavids. The latter obliged, and moved against their holdings in Central Asia in 1510. Ismail moved swiftly, attacked Shaybani at Merv, and defeated and killed him with ease, despite having inferior numbers.
What?
The Shah would reciprocate in kind, and his Shia supporters rebelled against Ottoman rule in Anatolia in 1511. Although this rebellion was defeated quickly, it was just the start, as many Turkoman tribes in eastern Anatolia were Shia. At the same time, the Ottoman Empire was facing another succession. The ailing Sultan declared his older son Ahmed as heir apparent in 1511. His younger son Selim rebelled and, despite initial setbacks, took Istanbul in the April of 1512 and dethroned his father.
What?
Soon Ahmed's army was defeated and Selim I became the Ottoman Sultan.
Oh my god.
He still faced an increasing number of Shia Muslims in his realm. Selim would...
Well, I guess he beat him pretty quickly, so at least there's not that, you know, civil war going on there. But I mean, the younger guy, the guy like third in line, so I figured he'd have like the smallest of the armies, took out the main guy, and then the second in charge. So, but this guy he's got, he's got going on. He's got something going for him because he just smoked him. So, I think he's gonna do good here.
Used the religion against the supporters of Ismail, and his scholars soon declared the Shia to be heretics. The rulers wrote each other a number of letters full of insults. In 1512, Selim ordered the execution of more than 40,000 Shia in Anatolia, and also sent a letter to the Shaybanids to request another invasion of the Safavid realm. All that made war inevitable. Ismail was forced to send a portion of his troops east to face the Shaybanids. In 1514, Selim started his campaign against Ismail. The Ottomans had around 70,000 troops and more than 100 cannons, while Ismail could field 50,000, most of them cavalry. He had no artillery. Initially, the Safavid Shah used scorched earth tactics to weaken Selim's forces, but as the armies were moving within Iran and close to the Safavid capital of Tabriz, Ismail needed to make a stand, and in August he decided to do that at the valley of Chaldiran. According to some sources, Ismail's advisors suggested attacking after dark to prevent the Ottomans from using their artillery, but the Shah considered himself a knight and declined. The sources for the battle are extremely conflicted, so we will just present one of the depictions. Selim sent his janissaries forward, keeping the rest.
So there's a whole bunch of ways this battle could have went down. I'm assuming they chose one. I'm assuming that the outcome of this battle is the same for all the sources. It's just the way the battle happened is what's the different, but the outcome I'm sure is the same. Oh, excuse me. But yeah, because that'd be pretty messed up if there's a whole bunch of different outcomes or like which side could win. So then it'd be like, why even have the battle in here at all if you have no idea who wins this? But anyways.
Of his troops back, sure that his elite troops would be able to use their gunpowder weapons to disperse the enemy cavalry. Yet the Safavid cavalry led by Ismail himself managed to repulse the Janissaries.
Oh, wow.
The Ottoman Sultan then moved his Sipahis forward.
Yeah, it's like, man, if all they have is cavalry and they don't have any, whatever. My mind's blank. But anyways, they don't have any guns or cannons or whatnot. It looks like they have the numbers. The Ottomans definitely look like a big, big advantage here. But it's all about tactics and how to play it out here. But we know the Sultan up here, man, like he's already proved himself, so I expect him to win this.
To cover the Janissaries. The Ottoman Sultan then moved his Sipahis forward to cover the retreat of the Janissaries, but the Sipahis were also driven back. At this point in the battle, both groups returned to their initial positions. Ismail ordered his cavalry to divide into two columns and attack the extreme flanks of the Ottoman cavalry. Safavid troops, both on the left and the right flank, were successful and inflicted heavy damage on the Ottoman cavalry. They were then commanded to converge on the Ottoman centre. Yet Selim, who observed the battle from a nearby hill, was expecting that. His cannons were now positioned at an angle targeting the impending cavalry attack. Thousands of Safavid horsemen died under artillery volleys, and their army was forced to retreat. The Ottoman cavalry counterattacked and dispersed the remaining enemy forces. Once again, we don't know the exact numbers, but both sides suffered heavy losses.
Wow, okay.
In early September, Selim entered Tabriz, but his troops were on the verge of mutiny, and soon he was forced to retreat. The Ottomans took control of eastern Anatolia, parts of the Caucasus and Mesopotamia, yet the wars between these states were far from over.
All right.
Thank you for watching another episode in our series on the Ottoman Wars. New videos in this series are on the way, so
there we go, guys. The Ottoman Wars. We're gonna have a lot more going on in the east here, because the blue guys, I know they're not the blue guys, but my mind went blank on the names and the name. But yeah, they're gonna obviously bounce back and try and regain the land they just lost. But definitely interesting episode. I feel we definitely covered like a lot of time in this episode for real. Like different because we started off like basically trying to invade Italy and worked, but until the Sultan died and then it got pushed back, and then everything kind of got settled down over there, in the West, and then now they're focusing their energy, expanding their empire in the East, and it's doing really good so far. But I always think all good things come to an end sometimes, but I don't know. I really don't know the history at all, so who knows? They might gain more land here, but definitely, not very confident that they basically conquer that whole area over there. I mean, I'm sure they're probably just happy with the land they got, but I really don't think they're gonna have that land they gained for very long. I could be wrong though, because they said that the empire is not at its biggest yet, so they might end up gaining all of that land. I don't know the history. That'd be really cool. So it was definitely surprised me if they do. So that'd be cool. But anyways, let me know your thoughts below in the comments. Anything you guys want to add that I missed or whatnot, because I missed a lot. And then I guess, why did the Ottoman sultans kill their brothers? Yeah, it's a good. I guess that's the next one. Good question. I was just kind of asking that. Like they just decided to kill their whole family. But basically their whole bloodline is just theirs now because they killed all their brothers or whatnot because they want power. Power makes you do crazy things, right? But anyways, guys, hit that like and subscribe. Well, they'll explain that. There might be something more to it that I don't know about. But anyways, like and subscribe. Catch you guys in future videos, and I am out. Peace. Have a great day.